Alright, so you jump into the Gundam Maxiboost Open Beta, pick a mobile suit, find a game against the people online, and don't understand what's going on and why you're getting your butt kicked. In this video, we're going to go through the basic controls of Mobile Suit Gundam EXVS Maxiboost ON for the PlayStation 4. What's up guys, Migo here with Gundam EXVS Maxiboost ON for the PS4. Today we're going to be looking at the open beta that is currently ongoing up until July 30th. It's technically free to play every weekend until the game's release. So I'm going to look over the basic controls since the game has no tutorial, and for players who are jumping in and trying to play online, there is really no proper chance to learn. I guess you could play against the AI, but yeah, there's no proper tutorial for this mode, or for this open beta at the moment. So we're going to be looking at the basic controls of the game, and hopefully that will be enough to help you actually learn the game properly yourself. So we're going to be picking the old Granddaddy Gundam here. Let's just go into it. Okay, so when you pick your character, first thing you'll see off are these EX burst. For this, we're going to pick extended burst first. If you don't know what to pick, just pick extended burst and you should be okay. I've made a private room so I can quote-unquote go into training. It always pits you against old Granddaddy Gundam. There's no way to choose who to fight, so you know, he's got decent HP too, 600. So this game is based on the Japanese arcade game, meaning that your movement is limited to 8-way controls. 8-way directions rather. So whether you use your D-pad or your analog stick, it's pretty much the same. Though I recommend using the D-pad as it's more precise that way. And that will play into certain movement options as well. So on your PS4 controller, you have your X button, which is your boost button. There you go, you press it once and hold, you go into a flight or a jump. There you go, that's me tapping X. Square is your main projectile, so here it's the beam rifle. And then triangle is your melee attack. The combos you initiate is based off whatever direction you're holding, so if you're pressing neutral triangle, you can go into this. Just a simple 3-hit combo. If you hold left or right or sideways, he goes into his Gundam hammer. Forward is usually either a quick stab or a thrust. There you go. And down can either, depending on the character, be a variety of things. So let's see what Granddaddy has for his down triangle. So he has a form of, I believe, a melee counter that if you hold, you go into a shield dash. Onto your special command. So R1 is basically square plus triangle. So for the Granddaddy Gundam, it's the Hyper Bazooka. And then R2 is mapped to triangle plus X, which is special melee. So for that, he calls upon one of the three white base friends in the original show. So this, of course, varies depending on the character. Usually it's some form of alternate melee attack with either a different weapon or a unique movement option. But for this particular unit, you have access to either the core fighter, the gun cannon, or the gun tack. And that is influenced by also a directional input along with the button press. So neutral R2 or neutral triangle plus X will bring out the core fighter. I think it's going to be side and R2 for, let's see, gun cannon? Oh, gun tank. Alright, gun cannon should be down R2? Yes, indeed. There we go. It will hug to lock them in place. Cool. And square X is going to be your special projectile. So that's mapped to L2, or if you prefer pressing it on the controller itself, that's easy to access with your thumbs. So special projectile is the Gundam Javelin, which for this unit, you can actually hold to charge faster. To charge for a bigger hit, and I think a bigger stun too. Onto the more complex movement options. Double tap X, you go into your boost dash. And if you hold X, you can continuously, boost dash. It'll deplete your boost gauge, but you're free to move around how any way you want. And what's special about the boost dash is you can cancel into it by performing another boost dash. So you can keep doing it as long as you have boost gauge, and make sure you don't overheat. So you can do it in the air as well. And landing on the floor will refill your boost gauge back to full. So what's cool about that is you can cancel into boost dash almost off of any particular like action you're doing. So I forget what they call this in Japanese, but you know how the way damage works is, or the way the knockdown value is, you hit them 3 times and the opponent gets knocked down, but they're able to act in between those slow shots. So what you do is you boost dash cancel out of your first shot and then do it again into your third shot. So that, and that'll easily combo your beam rifle shots into a hard knockdown. I'm doing it a little bit too slow there, but you get the idea, right? There we go. Nice hard knockdown. You can also do that off the melee, in case you want to follow up. But with regards to the melee canceling, what you have is actually another form of dash canceling, which is the boost step. So if you double tap a direction, your mobile suit will go into whatever direction you're pressing. So up will make them dash forward, back, right, left. So the special properties of that is it will help avoid the tracking of your opponent's attack, so either range or melee. But if you do the step dash during your melee strikes, you actually get something that looks like that. So that is the rainbow dash or rainbow step, and it's actually a lot better to chain your melee attacks with the rainbow step, as it is faster and it helps avoid oncoming projectiles from your opponent's partner, since this, like I said, this is a 2v2 game. So the easiest thing to do is just melee and step dash, melee again until you get the knockdown. There you go. Best thing to keep in note is if you're shooting, do the boost dash, and if you're doing melee attacks, do the rainbow dash or rainbow step or side step. There you go. Onto the other property that I forgot to mention about the projectiles is if you see a charge meter below your ammo counts, that usually means you can charge a specific button. In this case, this is charge square or charge projectile, and when you release it, there you get a stronger shot. And again, that varies depending on the character. Not everyone will have a charge attack. Some will have multiple. Some will have charge for triangle or melee, and that will, do a different. Sometimes it's either an attack or they go into an alternate form or something. It's really unique depending on the character, but if you do see a charge in your ammo count, best to try out whatever button and figure out which activates that particular move. So there, I just did what I believe to be melee off a boost dash. So I tend to just call this the dash attack since you're boost dashing. Certain characters might not have it, but I believe most do have a form of unique melee off a boost dash. So how you do it is you boost dash, and while you're in the dash animation, you press the melee button. So in this case, if you keep pressing, he does that. He'll do a slash into Vulcans, into another slash, and you can probably, since they're still red, you can follow up with another shot. So here we go. The reticle. Let's talk about the reticle right now. So you're always locked onto anything at any given moment, and when it's green, you can still shoot, though it will lose all of its tracking properties. So if they simply sidestep like this, the shot won't home in on them. So when you're in range, the reticle will become red, and that means your shots will now have tracking properties and makes it easier for a shot to hit their mark. Of course, your opponent can dodge and all that, but still, don't fire unless they're in red reticle range, or unless you're really ballsy and want to get cheeky with something something that they're blinded by or whatever, some kind of Hail Mary shot. So if you'll notice, once I get closer, the reticle will change. See, there's a double reticle that shows up, and that means that you are within optimal melee attack range. So if I'm here, my melee can still hit, though they don't have to go very far to be able to dodge it. So you see right there. But when you're in with optimal melee range, the reticle will change, and you're guaranteed to land a melee strike from that distance. If you're playing with another person, there's another reticle where you can see two circles, like a second smaller circle, like off to like the side. I believe it's on the left side, and that means your partner is also locked onto the same target at that moment, so you can know if you're ganging up on one single target, or if you agree upon switching targets so that you don't get into each other's combos and all that. So keep in mind that there are 4 reticle types. For green, be out of range. Red is your projectile range. This one with the 4 arrows is your melee range, and a double circle red means that you and your partner are targeting the same opponent at the same time. Defensive options. So of course, from dodging and sidestepping and all that, and of course the main thing is managing how much boost you have. You can also guard in this game. So the guard input is you quickly press down up in succession. So there you go. It's just down up, it's not up down or anything. And if you keep holding up, you keep the guard up until like they're half your boost gauge, or I believe that's the max length of how long you can guard. So the guard will block absolutely any attack coming from the front. I wish I could demo it to you, but there's no way to get the AI to move in this particular training mode, and there's no other training mode in this game, at least in the open beta version. So I can't also display the particular counter that the RX-78-2 has. But keep in mind that as long as you're guarding, any attacks from the front will be completely blocked. So burst is a combination of square, X, and triangle, or in this particular game on the PS4 controller, it is quickly mapped to R3. So burst is, you see the double burst gauge, you can basically burst, go into your burst mode even at half the gauge, but if you're at full burst gauge, of course it lasts longer, the perks last as long as the gauge is, it drains once you activate it and lasts as long as the gauge is still present. But the benefit of that is if you are getting attacked, or if you're in a down state or mid combo, you can press burst to break out of that combo. And I think one of the biggest benefits that you can get off that is going into a burst will replenish your boost gauge. So there, it replenished 75% off my overheating boost gauge. So that's cool if you're in a pinch, or if you just need an additional, like a little bit of boost meter to finish off an attack or dodge. And the final thing is, if you have boost meter activated and press R3 again, your character or your mobile suit unit goes into their burst attack, in which case for the RX-78 was the final shooting animation. It's funny how he lost his arm and head during that, but it's in reference to the source material of the anime, so this is still an anime game. So, it may look a bit weird, but it is there. So some quick tips: if you're charging a projectile weapon, you can usually cancel into that attack mid certain animations. So I believe if you're meleeing, you can cancel into the charged beam rifle by simply releasing. There you go. I didn't have to wait until I finished recovering off the triple triangle attack animation. And usually your special attack, which is mapped to your R1, can be cancelled out of, like, say if it's a bazooka type attack, you can cancel it out of certain animations. So I believe it's off the beam rifle. There you go. So like a little quick animation cancel that doesn't require you to boost cancel or anything like that. Just keep that in mind when you're playing. Again, it doesn't apply to all characters, but usually if it's a bazooka, you can probably just shoot and then cancel into a bazooka shot. That's usually how this game works. So we're at the half EX gauge again, and I'll demonstrate the boost refill once more. I'm overheating. I extend burst, it refills half instead of 75%. And what's cool about it is you can cancel into your super animation by, rainbow dashing or step dashing. Or boost, rather. Boost. I should call it boost. Because boost is the main thing of this game, so boost step, rainbow boost, or whatever. You get what I mean, right? Hopefully you do. Hopefully this video helps you out. And yeah, hope you guys have a blast with this game. I sure am. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.